My name is David Miller. I never thought I would have to tell this story, but some stories need to be told, not just heard. This is a story about love and how it can turn into the deepest kind of pain. I was just a simple teacher at the local high school. My salary wasn't much, but I had something more valuable than money. I had Sarah, my beautiful wife, and our 8-year-old son, Adam. Dad. Adam would run to me every day when I came home. Did you bring me a new book today? I always tried to bring him something, even if it was just a used book from the old bookstore near my school. His smile was worth more than gold to me. Sarah would stand in the doorway, watching us with a gentle smile. At least, that's how it used to be. David, she said one evening, her voice different somehow. Richard invited us to dinner again. Richard Shaw? A successful businessman who had moved into our neighborhood 6 months ago. He lived in the biggest house on our street, drove expensive cars, and always seemed to have everything I couldn't give my family. We shouldn't keep accepting his invitations, I said slowly. It's not appropriate. Sarah's face changed, just slightly. But I had known her for 10 years. I could see the disappointment in her eyes. He's just being friendly, she said. Besides, it's good for your career to know successful people. I looked at her, really looked at her. She was wearing the new dress Richard's wife had given her. It probably cost more than my monthly salary. Okay, I said finally. We'll go. That night at Richard's house, I watched my wife. The way she laughed at his jokes, the way her eyes followed him, the way she seemed to glow in the expensive surroundings. David, Richard said, filling my glass with wine that probably cost more than what I made in a week. How's teaching these days? It's good, I replied. My students. Dad's the best teacher. Adam interrupted. He was playing with his food, drawing patterns with his fork. Everyone says so. Richard smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. I'm sure he is, but you know, Adam, success isn't just about being good at something. It's about being smart enough to make it pay. I saw Sarah nodding slightly at his words. Later that night, after Adam was asleep, Sarah stood at our bedroom window. She was still wearing the expensive dress. David, she said softly, don't you ever want more than this? I walked up behind her, wrapped my arms around her waist. I have everything I need right here. She turned to face me. There were tears in her eyes. But what about what I need? The words hit me like a physical blow. I stepped back, my hands falling to my sides. What do you mean? She wiped her eyes. Nothing. Forget I said anything. But I couldn't forget. Those words played in my mind day after day. I started noticing things. The way Sarah checked her phone more often. How she spent more time getting ready in the morning. The new perfume she started wearing. I'm going shopping with Helen, she would say. Helen was Richard's wife. Again? I asked one day. That's the third time this week. Sarah's face hardened. Are you checking up on me? No, I'm just what, David? Just wondering how I spend my time? Or just jealous that I have friends who can afford to do things? Her words stung, but not as much as what I saw in her eyes. A kind of contempt I had never seen before. One evening, I came home early. Adam was at his friend's house for a sleepover. The house was quiet, too quiet. Sarah's car was in the driveway, but she wasn't inside. Then I saw the note on the kitchen table. I'm sorry. I can't live this life anymore. You're a good man, David. But being good isn't enough. Richard can give me the life I've always wanted. Please don't hate me. Tell Adam I love him. The world stopped turning. The air left my lungs. The note fell from my trembling hands. I sat at the kitchen table until darkness filled the room. My phone rang. It was Adam, calling to say good night. Dad? His innocent voice came through the speaker. Are you okay? You sound strange. I'm fine, buddy, I lied, my voice breaking. Just tired. Did you have fun today? Yes. Can I stay one more night, please? I agreed, thankful he wouldn't have to see me like this tonight. After hanging up, I walked through our small house. Every room held memories of Sarah. 10 years of marriage. 10 years of love. Or what I thought was love. In our bedroom, her closet was half empty. She had taken her expensive clothes, the ones Richard's money had bought, but she had left behind this simple blue dress she wore on our first date. The dress I had fallen in love with her in. I picked it up, held it to my face. It still smelled like her. That's when the tears finally came. The hardest thing wasn't telling my son that his mother had left. It wasn't sleeping alone in our bed. It wasn't even seeing Richard's empty house next door, knowing they had moved to his luxury apartment downtown. The hardest thing was continuing to live. Dad, Adam said one morning, his small hands clutching his backpack. When is Mom coming back? I looked at my son. His eyes were so much like hers. Adam, I said softly, kneeling down to his level. Sometimes people make choices that we can't understand. But she loves us, right? His voice was so small, so hurt. She'll come back. I pulled him into my arms, feeling his tears soak into my shirt. I love you, buddy. I love you so much, and I'm never going to leave you. The days turned into weeks. I went to work, taught my classes, helped Adam with his homework, but inside, I felt hollow. Then one day, Emma walked into my life. She was Adam's new art teacher. I met her at a parent-teacher conference. Mr. Miller, she said, her smile warm and genuine. Adam is such a talented boy, but lately he seems sad. I looked down at my hands. His mother, she left us. Emma was quiet for a moment. Then she reached out and touched my hand gently. "I'm so sorry," she said. And unlike everyone else who had said those words, she seemed to truly mean it. After that day, Emma started paying special attention to Adam in class. She would send him home with extra art supplies, encouraging him to draw his feelings. "Look, Dad," Adam would show me his drawings. They were always of 3 people, him, me, and Emma. One evening, Emma stayed late at school to help me grade papers. We talked for hours. She told me about her own divorce, about rebuilding her life. "The pain doesn't go away," she said softly, "but it changes. It becomes something you can carry." For the first time since Sarah left, I felt something stir in my heart, something like hope. But life wasn't done testing me yet. It was a regular Tuesday when Sarah walked back into our lives. She was standing outside Adam's school, wearing clothes that probably cost more than my car. "David," she said, her voice trembling, "can we talk?" Adam was at art club with Emma. I had time. "Why are you here, Sarah?" She looked different. Expensive jewelry, designer clothes. But her eyes looked tired. "Richard," she paused, taking a deep breath. "Things aren't what I thought they would be." I felt a bitter laugh rise in my throat. "And what did you think they would be?" "He's not who I thought he would be. He's not who I thought he was," she said, tears filling her eyes. "He's being investigated for fraud." Everything's falling apart. I stood there, looking at the woman I had once loved more than life itself, the woman who had broken our family. "What do you want from me, Sarah?" She stepped closer. "I made a mistake, David. A terrible mistake. I miss you. I miss Adam. I miss our life. 10 years of marriage, 10 years of memories, 10 years of love." They all came rushing back. But then I thought of Adam's tears, of nights spent holding him while he cried for his mother, of Emma's gentle smile and kind heart. "Our life," I said quietly. "Our life ended the day you chose money over love, the day you decided our son wasn't enough, the day you broke his heart." "David, please." She reached for my hand. I stepped back. "No, Sarah, you made your choice. Now you have to live with it." "But I still love you," she whispered. I looked at her for a long moment. Once that would have meant everything to me. But now it means nothing. Just then, I heard Adam's voice. He was walking out of school with Emma, laughing at something she had said. He saw his mother and stopped dead in his tracks. "Mom!" Sarah turned, tears streaming down her face. "Adam, baby." But Adam didn't run to her. Instead, he grabbed Emma's hand and moved closer to me. "Dad?" His voice was uncertain, scared. I put my hand on his shoulder. "It's okay, buddy. Everything's okay." Sarah looked at the three of us, me, Adam, and Emma. Her eyes lingered on Emma's hand holding Adam's. "I see," she said softly. "I really have lost everything, haven't I?" I didn't answer. I didn't need to. She turned and walked away, her expensive heels clicking on the pavement. This time, watching her leave didn't break my heart, because sometimes losing everything is how you find what really matters. That night, after Sarah left, Adam couldn't sleep. He sat on his bed, holding the teddy bear his mother had given him years ago. "Dad," he said as I tucked him in, "why did Mom come back?" I sat on the edge of his bed, choosing my words carefully. Sometimes people realize their mistakes too late. Is she going to live with us again? I looked at my son's face. He looked both hopeful and afraid. "No, buddy," I said gently. "She's not." He was quiet for a long moment. "Good," he finally whispered, "because I like our family now. With Miss Emma." I kissed his forehead, my heart full of love for this brave little boy. The next morning, the news was everywhere. Richard Shaw had been arrested for fraud. His company had collapsed. All his assets were frozen. "David?" Emma's voice was soft when she called. "I saw the news. Are you okay?" "I'm fine," I said, and I meant it. "But Sarah, you're worried about her." "Not about her," I clarified, "about what this means for Adam." Later that day, Sarah came to our house. She looked different from yesterday. Her designer clothes were gone, replaced by simple jeans and a t-shirt. Her makeup was smeared from crying. "They took everything," she said, standing in her old kitchen. "The apartment, the cars, the money, everything." I made her a cup of coffee, the same way I used to every morning for 10 years. "What are you going to do?" I asked. "I don't know," she whispered. "I have nowhere to go, no one to turn to. The old me would have offered to help, would have tried to fix everything, but I wasn't that man anymore." "You have family in Boston," I said. "Your sister would help you." She looked up at me, surprise in her eyes. Maybe she had expected me to offer her our spare room, to try to save her like I always had before. "David," she started, but I cut her off. "Sarah, listen to me. You're Adam's mother. You always will be. But that's all you are to me now." "Because of Emma?" "No," I said firmly. "Because of you, because of your choices." She started to cry again. "I know I hurt you. I know I destroyed our family, but I never stopped loving Adam." Love isn't just a feeling, Sarah. It's a choice. It's choosing someone every day, even when things are hard. You chose money over your son, over our family. "I was wrong," she sobbed. "I was so wrong." I watched her cry, feeling strangely calm. Yes, you were. And now you have to live with that choice. The front door opened. Emma and Adam came in, carrying groceries. Mom? Adam stopped, looking uncertain again. Sarah wiped her eyes quickly. Hi, baby. Emma started to back away. We can come back. No, I said, reaching for her hand. Stay. Sarah watched this small gesture, understanding dawning in her eyes. You really love her, don't you? I looked at Emma, at the way she smiled at Adam, at the gentle strength in her eyes. Yes, I said simply, I do. Sarah nodded slowly. I'm going to Boston, she said. My sister, she'll help me start over. She turned to Adam. Can I hug you goodbye? Adam looked at me, then at Emma. When we both nodded, he walked to his mother. Sarah held him tight, crying softly. I'm so sorry, baby. I love you so much. I love you too, Mom, Adam said, but he didn't cry this time. When she left, we stood together in the kitchen, me, Adam, and Emma, a family built not from obligation or blood, but from choice, from love. Are you okay? Emma asked both of us. Adam took her hand. Can we make cookies like we did last week? Emma smiled, pulling him into a hug. Of course we can. I watched them gather ingredients, laughing together. The afternoon sun streamed through the window, filling our kitchen with warm light. This wasn't the life I had planned. It wasn't the family I thought I would have. But sometimes life's greatest gifts come disguised as its deepest wounds. Sarah had said I wasn't enough. But standing there watching Emma teach Adam how to measure flour, I knew the truth. Love, real love, isn't about being enough. It's about being true. True to yourself, true to your promises, true to the people who choose to stay. Dad, Adam called, come help us. I joined them at the counter, flour dusting the air like snow. Emma's hand found mine, and Adam's laughter filled our home. This was enough. This was everything. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and share. See you in the next video.